Boyden is a global executive search firm. It was established in the 1940s and it now has 70 offices in 40 countries. We are focused on bringing and finding the best talent for businesses, nonprofits, all kinds of companies, and finding them the best talent at a leadership level. Specifically, we focus on the C-suite, board level, and the reporting line to the C-suite. I'm extremely happy with the decision to have moved home. I don't think I've regretted it once. The biggest reason is that I feel like the impact and the difference that I can make here, given that it's a nascent market compared to being in Boston where I was, is something that I am particularly excited about. I get challenged by, I feel like if I am making a difference in this space, I have more ability to impact and change things. So that's for me what motivated me, and actually what I think motivates most diaspora. You're in a small pond over there. There's not that much room to grow and make a change, whereas here everything is available, everything is open to change and improvement. Well, one of the observations is that at very senior levels, we have Kenyans that are equally capable and equally skilled as executives internationally and globally. There's actually very little difference between a CEO of a top company here versus a CEO of a top company in Europe. I would say, though, that the main difference and the skill that most companies are really looking for is leadership in emerging markets. It's not as predictable here. Things don't happen according to plan. You need to have somebody who can really always change gears, understand that information is not always available, make decisions that are based on what data is available, and be able to motivate and manage teams that are culturally divergent, and also they themselves are trying to upskill. A lot of sort of the middle management level are not people that have necessarily been abroad and been educated abroad. There has been a huge increase in interest, I would say. Now, it has resulted in quite a few placements that we've made in the diaspora coming back, but there's also a little bit of a mismatch, and so it doesn't always work out. But for the most part, there's a lot of interest, and companies here also very much value a skill set of a diaspora because they are culturally connected, but yet they have the international expertise and education that allows them to connect to their investors abroad, their boards abroad. No, they don't have an advantage. It's just a different skill set. So it just depends on the company. A company that has a lot of foreign or outside international investors might want somebody who they can relate to more. On the other hand, there's an incredible demand for skilled leaders that have worked in Kenya or in East Africa, because these are people who have demonstrated success here. They're highly networked, they're highly desirable, but there's not that many of them. So it's sort of a smaller pool of Kenyans that you're having to source from. And if you bring in diaspora, at least you're expanding the pool of people. I think a lot of it centered around professional growth. What are the opportunities to have a career path here? Is there an opportunity to have a career path, or do you come into a certain role and then are you kind of stuck there? That would probably be the one that was most, the biggest issue. The second was around pay. How would they be compensated? Is there a likely cut that they would need to take? If there's a cut, then is there at least a visibility into higher compensation in the future as they prove themselves? But once they're back here, actually, I found there to be a little bit of adjustment period, maybe 6 months to 8 months. But after that, everyone that I've spoken to that we've placed here has been happy with the move, glad they did it. Lots of stories about, issues they've had, but for the most part, really happy that they've come back here. Leadership is definitely one of them. The ability to look at a problem and think about taking the initiative yourself to solve the problem. The second would be collaboration, understanding the best way to work with a diverse team, know how to motivate that team. I think being comfortable with ambiguity. Things are constantly changing in this environment, and knowing how to deal with that and problem solve while you're in that environment. And I think the last is probably this an internal motivation to constantly learn and develop. Looking at every new position not from a perspective of higher pay, but a perspective from how can I grow myself more? How can I develop more? What skills can I undertake? That's sort of what I see. Those are the kind of the mid-level managers that I see rise to upper management quite quickly, with the people with that kind of mindset.